Good evening, this is Romulus back for another video. I hope y'all are doing well. And I want to continue with my story in dealing with narcissistic abuse and the discovery of my family being narcissists and on the cluster B spectrum, as well as the discovery of my former spouse. So last time we talked a little bit about red flags and how, because of my upbringing, what should have been construed and perceived or recognized as a red flag simply wasn't. And when things were said that were not okay, shallow, I went along with it instead of, objecting to it as I should have, or just completely deciding, hey, this is just not the kind of person that I want to be with. I'd like to echo Ollie Matthews and some other YouTubers and saying that just because you are related to someone does not mean that you have to have a relationship with them. If you are empathetic and you're an empath and sensitive and a feeler, you need to be extra selective of who you have relationships with, friends, family, significant, whoever, because it's going to end up bad if you don't. So it's really critical to, I guess you never really know someone, but for me, after having gone through and experienced narcissistic abuse, I'm really in tune and aware of people that I interact with, and I can tell fairly quickly. And one of the red flags, well, obviously, if someone is constantly yelling at you, which happened to me a lot, both in growing up in my family and in my marriage, that's a red flag. I think the use of profanity, which occurred in both, is just simply not acceptable. The other thing that I think is really important, and I don't want to get into the Scott Baio Nicole Eggert thing, except to say that I and this is assuming or presuming he did what she said he did, and I don't know. But let's say hypothetically he did. What Nicole Eggert was saying, and I agree with her in general, that there's a lot of power in apologizing and saying, hey, I'm sorry. And you cannot have a real relationship with someone that doesn't have the ability to do that. And narcissists don't. Narcissists don't have the ability to do that. So it's going to be really one-sided and not a healthy relationship. And I was talking about this today with a friend about the thought of going no contact seems sort of scary. And it is. But in order to heal and to be free from chaos, you have to. Now, it's one thing if someone, who is abusing you, whether they're a narcissist or not, if they come to you and say, look, I've been doing a lot of soul searching and I thought about our relationship and the things I've done or haven't done, and I feel really bad, and I just want to let you know that I apologize. I mean, then you can, decide, do you want to have a relationship with this person or not? But narcissists usually don't turn over a new leaf. It's how they're wired. And what it comes down to is that empaths and sensitive people like you and I, we are wired differently. We're just not compatible with people that are not nice. And so when you reflect back on high school and college and your adulthood, and you think about, gosh, I really wish, I liked that person. I would have liked to have been friends with that person. Um, what was wrong with me? There must have been some issue. There wasn't. There wasn't an issue with you, and in fact, it's more of an issue with them if they could not see what a kind, warm, loving, special person that you are, then you would not want to have a relationship with them because it's going to be one sided. I mean, that's the default setting with these narcissists and cluster Bs. It's going to be one sided. And they're, you're going to run into people, I talked about this, who will groom you. Adults can be groomed. In both the personal and the work arena. I know. And so, when I got married, I didn't understand how the nature of enmeshment. I assumed that the person I married was going to have my back and be loyal to me. And you just don't think that if push comes to shove, that your partner is gonna not only not defend you, but is gonna side with their parent. And it's not. This is not a gender issue. Both men and women are enmeshed, and I hear about this all the time, where your partner, you're getting chewed out by, your in-laws, one of your in-laws or whatever, and then your partner, spouse, whatever, didn't come to your defense. That is not okay. That is unacceptable. And so there's that, and again the enmeshment where they don't create enough or insist on enough separation between themselves, the marriage, and their parents. And so, you find, it's reminiscent, I suppose, of, school where, you said something to someone in confidence, you expected they're going to, maintain the confidence, and then you find out that they told some other people, and that's really uncomfortable and really awkward. And I think it's a form of triangulation. I mean, if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, you're going to be hit and attacked from all angles with the manipulation, the gaslighting, the inducement of cognitive dissonance. I mean, these are bad people. These are just not good people. And, you do not want to try to stick it out with them. Your goal, and my goal, is to live the happiest conflict and chaos-free life as possible. And you can't do that with these people. I mean, it's real. The dynamic is really disgusting. I mean, they these people just get off on your pain, and it's and also, even as you become an adult, you'd think, oh yeah, my parents. In the case of narcissistic parents, you think, oh yeah, they're gonna be more respectful of me because I'm an adult. No, they're not. they still devalue you. And in fact, the worst things that ever happened to me occurred while I was an adult, from people in my family. And so narcissists are really big on like shock value. What they do is very shocking. And, in order to protect yourself, I mean, you don't want to engage a narcissist, but if you have to, it's brutal. I mean, they bring out the worst in you. You're going to find yourself doing, thinking, and saying things that are not who you are about, and so, you want to avoid them at all costs. So, other red flags in my marriage were, when my ex-spouse was very competitive, and she would throw a temper tantrum if she didn't get her way. And what that is, that's arrested development. Arrested development is part of borderline personality disorder, and that usually occurs when the person's father abandons them, and that happened in my ex-spouse's case. And what they'll do, it's really immature. If they think that you're gonna leave them, they'll beat you to the punch, which is what happened to me. But I actually was not even planning on leaving my former spouse. Eventually, I would have had to protect myself because of the abuse. But they misread it, and so the arrested development. These people, they do not act their age. They don't act like adults. It's really bizarre. And so with me, they love bomb you. They value you, put you on a pedestal. Love bomb you. And then devalue you, and then discard you. And that's what happened to me. And it's, with me, as I mentioned a couple videos ago, it felt like a complete scam. I mean, it really did. And, I mean, the way it's supposed to work healthy people, just because you get divorced doesn't mean you're not healthy. Healthy people get divorced all the time, and they act like adults, and they deal with whatever they deal with whatever the pending issues are, and then they get divorced, and most of them handle it collaboratively. Those are some of the red flags where she was like super competitive, and they're entitled, and her mom did and said things that are very reminiscent of what my parents did and said. And so I got it, I was sort of tag teamed, and it's just not healthy. I'm coming on 15 minutes in this video, so I'm going to stop it now. But I will continue my story about narcissistic abuse and the experience I had in dealing with it, more red flags, and during my relationship with a BPD. Okay, we'll see you next time. Thank you.